Well, I guess we're 6 strong. There might be a couple more that are going to join us. But welcome to, another Cryptowriter Round Table, and welcome to our first ever Aussies on the Block at Round Table. Literally, that's not me, is it? It totally could be me. No, it's not me. Sweet. All right. Literally, the best timing probably of any Cryptowriter roundtable for Aussies, because like you guys are always sleeping, so this is our chance to rule the world while the Americans are napping, being all lazy over there on the big island. And but yeah, I'm really excited to have you guys here. We're just gonna kind of go around the room and introduce each other, and then just talk about whatever, because I think that all the crazy stuff that's happening in the blockchain space down in Australia sometimes gets overlooked in other parts of the world, and there's some pretty amazing things that are coming out of there. I guess 50% even of Cryptowriter comes out of Oz. So I'll just quickly introduce you guys, and then you guys can say a piece. So next to me is Tim. He's basically the co-founder of GenerEOS, a block producer on EOS and other EOS IO chains. Next to him is Taylor Arnold. You'll probably know Taylor Arnold because he's the guy behind the scenes that does a lot of these podcasts and helps out on the Cryptowriter team. It probably wouldn't be what it is on a social sense without him. Sean Gardner, I think we met once a really long time ago, but it's been a while. You're probably one of the people in the space that's just been head down working forever over on Emanate, just trying to pull through and bring music to the blockchain. So that's awesome to have you here. Ross Dold, who I met the first time on a one-on-one interview on the GenerEOS channel, talking about EOSphere. You're the co-founder or founder of EOSphere, another block producer over on Asia, doing a lot of cool tech stuff. Dimitri, kind of new face to the space, but you're doing some really cool stuff with EOStarter. You're working with them to procure some funding. CypherDub, the man that we're kind of curious about, because he does a lot of really interesting things over in the Cryptowriter space, in the EOS wax space. You've been on streams here and there a few times. I actually am not quite sure what you do, but I always like seeing you. And just joining us now is Tom, who is founder of a platform that I kind of got my legs on, which was Tribe One, and that was built on the EOS blockchain, and now it's been ported, Loop Finance, over to Terra. So we've got a great crew here that we can talk about innovation in blockchain, what's happening, what's hot, what's not. Because I think right now, I'll just be the one to say it. I think what's hot right now is NFTs. Number one, NFTs and music. Those are the two things that I think are starting to really heat up. And if you look even over in the Ethereum space, the amount of people who are whaling in and paying ridiculous amounts of money for NFTs that are just basically JPEGs. Finney, obviously they moved over to Ethereum. Tim, you guys are launching your new kind of Scarce platform, which you're working on. So what do you guys think? Just feel free to jump in whenever. But yeah, what's your take on this whole kind of NFT type of thing? And how are Australians in particular responding to this? Because Australians, I'm not Australian, but I have a lot of good Australian mates. And I say this as a term of endearment. But our Australians are famous for gambling and betting, putting the house in front of the horse type of thing. There's a really big culture, collection culture, status quo over there. And I'm just kind of curious, is it a big part of the Australian blockchain community or not?
I can't speak for everyone, but I know sort of where I am on the coast here, it's quite hard to find people that are interested in NFTs or they know, but they're not they don't have anything yet. Though in saying that, I have found online, it's quite easy to find people that are a few hours away that are very heavily invested in NFTs. So I think there's Aussies there and they're around. They're not too far, but far enough that I can't be bothered to drive there. For me, anyway. It might be different for you guys if you're in the city.
Yeah, I think like since the meetups have kind of died out because we're all like been in lockdown in and out of lately. Yeah, since the meetups kind of died out, it's harder to get those like physical connections with people, and it's usually done online. But yeah, it is quite like separated in Australia. There's no real like hub. It's kind of like a spaced out country in some regards. So yeah, unless you have like purpose meetups, it's hard to really connect with those people. It's definitely there. It's definitely there. Like look at all of us, right? Like we're all involved building businesses on it. So
it's funny. Me and Dimitri were on an EOStarter call maybe about a month ago, and we were all going around the table introducing ourselves and saying where we were from. And he said, "Oh, I'm from Melbourne." So I said, "Oh, whereabouts in Melbourne?" He said, "Oh, Templestowe Lower." I'm like, "No shit, that's where I'm from." And it turned out we lived a block away from each other, never spoken to each other before, never seen each other before. So exact opposite of what you guys are saying.
It's crazy. Yeah.
We're working on a couple of NFT, like apart from doing working on the Loop project, we're working with a couple of other projects who are on NFTs. One of them is like a way to support up and coming athletes. So basically, these athletes can. I think we're going to be working with like maybe with the AFL, Formula 4, rugby, and a couple of other like big sporting kind of organisations. This isn't us directly; it's just a group that we're kind of working or helping through this process. And their idea is that people buy these NFTs into these young athletes, and then the money raised actually goes into like some DeFi protocols and then produce a yield, and the yield goes back to the athletes. So it's essentially a way of kind of supporting athletes. And then obviously as the athletes kind of move up, they can actually release more NFTs. And, some of the value of those new NFTs goes back to the previous NFT owners. So, people who supported them from the beginning. So that's one pretty exciting NFT project that, that we've been involved with.
Nice. Yeah, there's a project that I'm working on in Stealth. It's an Australian company as well. And they're one of the biggest media companies in Australia. They have like access to around 6 million subscribers that are building an NFT platform with us that will come out. And they're in kind of like the music and media distribution space. So there are like bigger companies that are looking at it in Australia. Just kind of.
Are you, Sean? Are you guys still doing NFT? You guys have got some NFTs for Emanate as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, we started like halfway through last year with RareRes, which was kind of a side brand that we spun up because we could just see the NFT space moving so quickly, and we sort of didn't want to just like throw Emanate in the deep end. So we spun up RareRes to get Deadmau5 into the NFT market, and then Weezer earlier in the year, and yeah, that's still sort of still there, and we're sort of looking to find exactly what the market fit is like with RareRes in particular, and what style of NFTs will continue to resonate with both artists and collectors. They have been the typical kind of wax packs, collectible packs, some so far, but they could be take different forms as well. And then we're working away in the background as well on just kind of how to bring music NFTs to the market in a really authentic way as well. So there's obviously been some decent music industry NFTs over the last year, but they've been pretty sort of like standalone, one-off standalone audio visual sales. There hasn't really been a lot of like artists actually integrating an NFT sale as part of the music release, where you might be buying it like pre-release or scarce copies or promo copies or whatever, and then you go on to see that song become a chart topper. So we sort of think that's what's next, and hopefully we'll be able to integrate that whole process quite tightly with Emanate, because it's not likely that the bigger sort of platforms like Spotify will start integrating NFTs anytime soon. but you never know. It might just take them like a year or two to kind of get the board together and kind of move towards that sort of thing, or they might wait until there's a little bit more mainstream adoption. But yeah,
sorry.
I was just going to say, like, in regards to the Aussie community and the experience over the last year or so, I think, you know, although we haven't been able to get together face to face in many parts of the country, the online community has been really strong. And for myself and my friends, like that, the NFT like trading and collection on a personal level has been one of the things that's just got us through this crazy time, because it's the one really interesting thing that you can do from your phone or your computer at any time of the day, and it's been cool.
Just on that as well, I just wanted to reiterate how productive teams can be purely through like virtual communication. Been really blessed to join a few teams, some Australian based, some, you know, overseas, but it's pretty incredible when there's trust developed within a team. It's sort of irrelevant whether you can see each other face to face. You sort of work independently. You know, everyone's got their sort of KPIs or tasks for the week, and then you report back for like at the end of the week or the start of the following week, and it's like, yeah, sweet, we're all working on a common goal here, and it's working quite productively. So it's a cool thing about this space here, and it's, you know, obviously forced upon us due to, you know, external forces, but I think we've adapted quite well.
So I've got a.
Well, I know some like projects have you know really made out hot, I think, in this space, like over where we are. I'm sure Emanate as well. Maybe it's a little bit helpful, the whole pandemic that we're in, because, you know, we were able to look at things like Yoshi Drops where people weren't able to go to concerts, or the Uplift World where people were in the game playing. A little bit different story if you're like Tom, who, you know, was banking on like real world businesses adopting crypto, and when everything shut down, that becomes a little bit problematic. So I think it's really interesting to see how different, you know, societies and different countries have adapted. Hi. Okay. Sure. She's into NFTs and Australian, so that's good for us all.
So I've got a bit of an opinion to share. I think Ethereum has done a really good job of getting the acronym out there. NFTs. I hear it all the time here in Australia. I hear it in mainstream, you know, news, like television type news. People talking about NFTs. It's primarily associated to some kind of digital collectible, some kind of video or picture or something, which is great because it kind of shows what NFTs can be. But I think the real value for NFTs hasn't really been seen as yet, and, you know, I think that's what you're alluding to there, Sean. The whole idea about it being an asset inside of the digital space, an asset that, you know, I would be able to hand to you to use. You would be able to, I would be able to sell it for their own price. It's a only the one in the digital space that exists, one of a kind type asset. I saw such a fantastic presentation when I was in South Korea. I think it was RTAM Games, and they were talking about Ready Player One, right? I don't know if you guys ever in your travels saw some of those kind of presentations where they're talking about, can you imagine how difficult it would have been, the contract side of things, negotiating with all of those IPs and putting them into a single movie where we could use everybody's brand, everybody's character, all in a single place. And they were saying, if we had to NFT all of that, we could probably use that in the digital space, and everybody would then be equally compensated based on the amount of airtime, based on whatever the brand was actually worth, which was great. It then went to the next level, and they said, imagine you're in a game. It was just a hypothetical game, like a dungeon crawling game where you had a sword that you had spent, you know, 500 hours making all the magic on the sword. The sword was amazing. Imagine if that sword was an NFT, and I could sell that sword and, you know, get all of the effort out of it, you know, get it in a kind of monetary form. But what if I didn't want to sell the sword? Well, I'm not playing that game 24/7. Why don't I lease that sword? So somebody else could use my powerful sword to travel through that dungeon and get the benefits of it, and I can get some kind of return from that. And those are some examples of like where I see the NFT space really making a difference. When you tie it to some kind of asset that has some kind of use on it. I mean, collectibles are cool. I know for myself, I've never been much of a collector, but people love their baseball cards and garbage pail kids, and of course dead mouse collectibles. But it's great when it goes to the next level where there's actually a usage, and I think that actually makes it more easy for people, like normal people in the world, to understand exactly what an NFT is. Because right now, a lot of people will just think, oh, geez, someone took a photo of a duck or a video of a rat taking a piece of pizza, and suddenly that's worth $1 million, right? Anybody could do that. I've just copied that video. I've got it myself, right? They don't get the connection between the actual asset and the utility of that asset that can be held in the digital space. I suppose I actually heard Joe Rogan say it earlier. He gave an example, I think it was like last week on one of his podcasts, when he said that inside of the digital world, that asset is the only one of those assets in the digital world. So the whole idea is that, think in Ready Player One, you might not, if I took a photo of something, anybody could print it on a printer, but in the digital world, that photo only exists in one place, which is the whole thing. You can kind of understand that not in the real world, in the digital world, it is its own self-standing, one-of-a-kind NFT, which is probably where the connection needs to come through to the mainstream people.
Yeah, it's kind of like
there's
the
tons
same
of
psychology. Sorry, it's like the same psychology as owning a physical item. Now you can do with a digital item, right? It's that same like sense of ownership with like, this thing is mine. You can get the same thing with an NFT now. And then there's like there's so many different use cases for it. There's like wax that are kind of going with consumer products. And then there's Flow that's like limited with 100 TPS that are going more like digital collectibles. I know Wax are also doing collectibles. Then there's Ultra with like video games. And then there's Blau trying to like tokenize music records so we can, for royalties. And then you got Emanate that are kind of using blockchain, but could actually use NFTs to pay royalties out with music as well. There's so many different chains are going to have so many different use cases, and they're all got the technological boundaries designed for those use cases.
And it's already here. Like something huge happened last night, like with the music royalties thing. Nefty Blocks has already built it, right? And so basically we're going to implement it for Yoshi drops, but there's going to be a way where you can have various collaborators that come in and an NFT is created, and basically those payments are paid out to the people who are listed on that in the percentages that are already put out there, right? So this is already baked into the system. They've already built it. Not very many people are using it, but it's open pretty much for everyone to be able to use. And it's just going to be insane, right? Like now, instead of having to, wrestle with that scary freaking dog across the road to go borrow a CD, right? Like you can just sign into like a platform like Emanate, for example, and you can like listen to somebody else's playlist. You can pick that up, right? That you can rent these images out that you can use in your restaurants or your shops or whatever. And I think it's going to be really interesting just to see this whole thing explode when the world realizes that like they're not just JPEGs, that it's actually useful and it makes more sense to do business, as Ross kind of pointed out. Like I might just have to go underground because like I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it. It's just going to be insane, really. Like,
I was like,
for me, sorry, Tim. I was going to say, for me, one of you go.
I just had like I actually wrote my master's thesis on NFTs, and I was trying to think of like the best way to explain them. And I was like talking to a friend the other day, and I brought it out of my master's thesis. I kind of see it as like a more advanced barcode. So a barcode at the moment is on individual products, right? And it doesn't do anything apart from be a unit of account in a database. Whereas an NFT can be like a more advanced barcode. So it's like a computer. So you can actually collect secondary revenue from the barcode. So imagine the barcode's like a part of the product, and it can actually control and facilitate the sale. So I think that's kind of like a good way to think about how they can connect to physical consumer products. And once brands and businesses realize that they can control the secondary market sales of their consumer products, I think that's going to be a game changer for NFTs. And I think every barcode is going to be an NFT in the future.
I originally started out by thinking NFTs associated to a real world item. And I was always like, okay, how do you ensure that that item is actually there in a warehouse, et cetera, et cetera. But, over the last year, I'm definitely more about, it doesn't matter about the real world. Everybody's migrating through to digital world. Even some of these concerts are run inside of a digital world. It does not matter. It does not matter if it has to be associated to something out in a warehouse down the street. All that matters is that in the digital world where you exist, that you actually have it. And I think that's where my headspace is now. I think I'm just purely, well, there we go. A digital world, Minecraft.
Yeah, well, keep talking. I want to put some gratitudes.
Something's burning there.
Yeah, well, it's my fires of the reality coming to close in on the real world. It's gonna be great. I want to put some gratitudes up from you guys, but I personally, I'll start. Like I'm just grateful for NFTs and the blockchain space in general and all of the innovation. But yeah.
I'm really, like I was saying before, like I'm really interested on Terra. There's lots of kind of NFT protocols which are coming, which are linking basically DeFi protocols to NFTs. So, you guys probably know, obviously, like, for example, if you're trying to farm, on some DeFi farm, like the whole process is quite a complex process, especially for a newbie. But if you could literally just have an NFT which is related to a stake in a farm, then I wouldn't have to pull my assets and then get my LP token and then go and stick my LP token in the farm. I could literally just buy an NFT, and that NFT then represents a whatever stake in whatever farm, and then I can get the yield from it because I hold that NFT, and then I can either sell it to someone else or give it to someone else, or I can just cash it in, like burn it when I'm ready, and then I just essentially claim all my rewards like that. So I think it can be used as like a friendlier UI or a friendlier UX for accessing some of these quite complex financial products.
Man, I get yelled at all the time for this, but I'm super annoyed that we still have tokens. There's absolutely zero reason to have a token other than we're trying to replicate money, because what is money? Money is a piece of paper with a picture on it, which is basically an NFT, but now you can customize money with NFTs, with tokens. You can put all of that out there. It just doesn't make sense, right? Like, I want to pay in music. I want to pay in
we also use tokens for other utilities on the chain. Like in EOSIO, we use it for managing resources.
I know, Ross. I'm just
okay. But tell me, what are you doing? I mean, I feel like I'm a few steps behind here. You're writing a grateful block, and you're building a house, or what's happening?
Me, right here, right now.
Yeah. What are you doing?
This is the uplift world. This is. Sorry, one more time.
I was just reading what you wrote there. So what is it?
This is the uplift world. So this is a metaverse, and Corey and I work for the uplift world. Corey is the co-founder, and so we come in here on every show and we put out gratitudes. We put up gratitudes for the beginning of every show, every roundtable we do it. Corey usually does it, but he's sleeping today, so I thought I would do it. But I'm in the wrong place, and it's going to take me way too long to travel back home. So we're just going to do it on the GenerEOS site. But yeah.
You got Dan Larimer to do one the other day, didn't you, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Next week, tune in for our roundtable because we're going to have Dan back on the show. But it should be really good. What's your guys' take? Because there's a lot of people in here on EOS, or most of the people in here have been working with EOS. Tom, I know you were a little bit frustrated in the early days. You ported over. I know everyone was really frustrated. What do you see as being the future? Because we've been told that EOS is going to pump for a few years now. It never quite does. But there's all of these great projects and great, developers and great teams and great block producers that are still working behind the scenes to just maximize the insane potential of EOS. So I'm kind of curious what you guys all think. We got Dimitri on the line who's doing EOStarter, which is looking for funding. Sean, you guys have been building on EOSI technology forever, and I think half the people that use your platform don't even know that it's on EOSIO, if I'm honest about it. Tim and Ross, you guys are longtime block producers. Tom, you decided to leave, right?
I suppose we've got to just make sure we don't obfuscate EOS, which is a specific chain, and then EOSIO, which is the software. EOSIO is a software made by Block One that a lot of chains run on. I would say that when we first started off as EOSphere, we were primarily focused on EOS mainnet and the EOS mainnet launch. But as time goes on, teams went off and launched their own EOSIO based blockchains. We work on some amazing, more functional focused chains, not just like a general utility chain for everything. Like for instance, Wax, which is all about NFTs, Telos, which is now about Ethereum virtual machine, dStore and governance. FIO, which is all about ensuring that blockchain is easy and making it simple for people to send and request payments via like a domain and normal account name rather than like a complicated looking Bitcoin address. Proton, which is all about its wallet. A lot of these networks are very focused on specific usage, and people and developers that are drawn to it are there specifically to make a type of product. I think ultimately we'll get to a point where all of the chains have a mechanism to easily interact with each other. I think Dan Larimer's original vision was to have EOS be the glue that binds everything together. And things are changing crazily now on EOS in the last, the EOS mainnet in the last, few months. With the EOS Foundation being launched, we've got Eden on EOS. It's all pretty exciting. I think, or I hope that a lot of people that left EOS would, see things change and get enticed back to the original EOS. But there's definitely lots of other EOS.io chains that, EOS.io, the software, I firmly believe is one of the best blockchain software solutions out there. I suppose it all just comes down to marketing, where people decide to build the applications. But if you were serious about it, getting a functional product, I think EOS.io type software is the way to go.
Yeah, I can see that. Ross, what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful that I get to see all of you guys again, and that's not just a platitude. I mean, Tom, you and I haven't spoken in ages, man. Tim, great to see you. Sean, haven't seen you face to face for a while, so I'm grateful to be on the group. Nice to see fellow Australians, still going at it in the blockchain space.
Absolutely. I got a message from a fake Ross the other day, actually.
Yeah, no, geez.
Actually,
man, I was the scammer's flavor of the month, man. I don't think I've ever had so many people message me with this fake guy. Block and report, man. That's all I can say. And I won't be asking you for money. If I had to ask you for money, I'll phone you.
Tom, what about you? What are you grateful for?
What am I grateful for? So many things. I'm really grateful, actually. I'm grateful for you guys as well, because and very grateful for crypto, really, like for the whole, and for blockchain technology. But, really grateful, some of us started, our crypto journey together, or building on, especially you, Jimmy, building Tribe all those years ago, and all the support. And I think, just from then, my life's just gone in a totally unimaginable direction almost. And yeah, I couldn't have done it without the support of so many other awesome people in the crypto space. Yeah.
Cool. Who's next? Let's go with Taylor.
Well, I'm obviously grateful to be meeting all of you guys for the first time, or some of you for the first time, but I won't put that down as soon as the last two did. I'm actually super grateful to be here right now in the NFT space, man. To be a part of something that's innovating and growing right now is, I think, super exciting, and definitely motivates me to be up every day and working.
Cool. Very cool. Let's go with Sean Gardner.
I'm grateful that this blockchain kind of, for want of a better word, revolution, is having such a positive impact on creative people. What's unfolded in the last year or so in terms of what digital designers and animators can do with NFTs hopefully flows over to the music world next. And it's been nothing short of life-changing, for some of these guys, like people that have been building a following for years and just putting out digital art for free because you couldn't really sell it. It's completely reshaped their careers. I'm just grateful to kind of be able to be right at the center of kind of technology and artistic works and creativity on the whole, and to be able to work in it every day and make a bit of money from it is, it's a blessing.
Yeah, I think I feel almost exactly the same way actually with the projects that I get to work with. So it's pretty cool. Tim, what about you? What are you grateful for, Tim?
I'm grateful for the pioneers. So I think there's a lot of pioneers at the moment. You've got like the Beeples, the Three Lows, you got like Roham, you got William Quigley. Like these guys are pioneering. Like you got Emanate, to be honest, as well. Like these guys are pioneering an industry that's so new, and without the pioneers, it's hard to actually get data to then build new products from. So I'm grateful for them. Like I really think like after Beeple's like $69 million sale, like that was the point where people that were like mainstream were like, what the hell is this? Like how can we get a $69 million NFT? And then you've got all the celebrities that jumped in.
I think it's like a decadence, man. I think that it's just that art that, you know, some people can or won't accept. I think it's a little bit weird.
I think it's built up. I think it's like almost like pressure that's been built up over time, where like this digital art like needed to be recognized, and suddenly like it's exploded onto the scene so quickly that it's almost like a pressure valve that's been released. And the people, the reason that the values are so high is just the speculation. Like this is the birth of digital art and the birth of the digital age, and humans might go on to live for like thousands more years if we sort our shit out, and these pieces will be the very first ones that were ever born into the space. That's why the meme NFTs are worth so much, and it's still speculation, but I think that's, for me, that's kind of what it is. And the first one that really got our attention in 2020 was the rack piece that was on Super Rare, and we were just like mind blown that it sold for 20 grand. And you know, what's happened since then is just incredible. And it's not about the money, but like the money is what has put it into the public sphere. And you know, so that's kind of a necessary step.
I'm such a practical guy. I always want to see some kind of utility out of something. And you know, maybe I'm just not a collector. You know, so maybe that part of that aspect is kind of lost on me. But I mean, I get it. You know, I get it.
Well, just to kind of build on those two things, I think that the desire to collect things is an innate human trait, right? It's kind of like looking into a fire. You know, any one of us would understand this. You know, if you've got a fireplace in front of you, you can just stare into the flames for kind of an ungodly amount of time. It's kind of like if you're in Africa and you're in the bush and you're driving around, you see a lion. You can just stare out the window of your car at the lion, and you could sit there for 3 hours watching the lion just do not much. But there's something innate in our caveman brains that kind of make us mesmerized, whether it's a lion or staring into a flame. And there's something kind of like that as that's part of the innate human state, which is that desire to collect things. And maybe it comes from, you know, back in those caveman days when food was scarce and water was scarce or tools were scarce, and you're just trying to accumulate those things. That's kind of the very being of your existence. So even though we've come a long way technologically and socially, we're still kind of cavemen at heart. So I think that NFTs really kind of draw on that innate human kind of deep facet of human nature. And what I find really interesting about NFTs is, and I think everyone can relate to this as well, we've all had friends where you're trying to explain NFTs and they're saying stuff like, well, it's just a JPEG. I just right click it, I'll download it. But then when they start, you get them to make a purchase or something, and then just something clicks in their brain, and then it's on, right? And they're buying everything. So, I mean, I've seen it happen 1,000 times with new people coming into the space, where they come in very pessimistic, and then next minute they're like NFT fanatics. It's just like that switch needs to be clicked, And, you know, I can draw on my own experience and remember, you know, the moment when that kind of happened for me, you know, when I bought my first pack of Top Shot and I was like, I want more of these. And then the whole world of NFTs just opened up to me. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts there. In terms of what I'm grateful for, Jimmy, for me, mate, it's sunshine and the changing season. We are coming out of winter, and I'm getting a few sunny days here for the first time in a while, and it feels nice to be sitting here in a t-shirt, mate.
I mean, I like our Blockchain Canadians episode because that's always fun. But, you know, only an Aussie would stare down a lion. I'm just going to say it. Canadians aren't staring down no lions in Africa. I don't know what you guys are doing down there. It must be the environment. But, yeah, all the power to you. I'm going to put my feet up on my sofa because there's no way I'm staring down a lion, man.
Maybe some South Africans too, Ross?
Yeah. Hey, we've only got kangaroos here in Perth, though. And those things, you know, there's nothing about, they stare at everything.
Staring down a kangaroo can be a scary experience, though. Have you ever been stared down by a kangaroo? That's the worst one.
I've seen some of those big reds, those ones that you see punching people and kicking people.
I've been surrounded by them. Yeah, like a national park with food that they wanted, and I was literally surrounded. Like they were just like, okay, give us the food or you're dead. Yeah,
my dog got chased by one of those big kangaroos not too long ago. He's like a Mastiff mix, sort of Calby German Shepherd, and we got a big park near our place. And sometimes he goes, you know, chases him a little bit, but he always comes back. And maybe 2 weeks ago, he was on his way back, and one of the males started chasing him down and was trying to stomp on him. And he's just sort of sprinting one way, sprinting the other way. It was pretty scary, but also quite interesting to watch. Because if that thing got a hold of him, see you later.
They
do drown dogs.
Actually drowning dogs. Yeah.
They do.
I had no idea. I mean, that's kind of crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah. Dimitri, what are you grateful for?
Yes. Man, I'm grateful for people who are content in going against the grain, those who are truth seekers and not tribe followers, or people who are connected or identified to a tribe. So, you know, content in being the odd one out, content in having a voice that may not win you popularity votes, but you are content within yourself knowing that you're following the truth.
Don't worry, Tom. I still love Tribe, even though it's gone. Yeah, this is our GenerEOS plot because I got, you know, way too far away from the Cryptowriter plot or the Uplifter Tower. But definitely come and check it out. And I built this little thing that you guys can run around and collect passive rewards. So, you know, you don't have to fly like me. But definitely cool to have all of your gratitudes up here on this little monolith encased in stone. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I think this is fully underrated, the whole Minecraft connecting it with NFTs and stuff, by the way. I think that's like, yeah, it's so underrated. I think it's going to explode.
I mean, yeah, we're hoping. We've got some, you know, really interesting, crazy things that are happening that like we can't even keep up with. So like there's tons of little projects in there that are building. Some of the people on this stream included or in our audience have done some really amazing things. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, you've already got like a full ecosystem of like Minecraft, like crazy super nerds, and they're primed for blockchain. So like once you can show them a few good use cases and how they can generate income from it, you're going to have like an influx, I think, of developers trying to build different ecosystems.
Well, and especially with art, what we're seeing a lot now is people creating these galleries, right? And so like we're experimenting. One of our users started experimenting even with things like Emanate or Loop, like things that you guys are bringing out. It's nice because you can actually put up a picture or an image, and then you can put a QR code up in the world. So people are running around in the world. They can scan the QR code. It takes them directly to that page or directly to that artist or directly to that musician. and it's right there with their phone while they're sitting on a computer playing the game. I mean, it doesn't get much more virtual than that at this point in time, right? Of course, it's going to amplify itself over time, but you know, we've got a long way to go. But like, I'm just super excited, right, to see how this all kind of transforms. So, but that again, right? Like, so metaverses, I think, are going to be a big thing. But like the original metaverse in a way is like these communities of projects. And some of them are more visible than others. You see like people like, you know, rallying around projects like the Old Tribe or Loop but other ones are not. I think especially block producers in EOS get underrated a little bit because they do so much work behind the scenes to like basically, you know, make the storefront operational, and no one's really paying attention to it. But I just want to take this opportunity to ask, like, is there something about a project that you guys are directly associated with or directly working on that maybe you want to give us an update on? Because I think it's always good to touch base with what you guys are working on and what you're excited about on your own terms and merits as well.
I'll start with that. We actually just we launched so you guys probably remember Tribe. It was like a content community, which we did migrate over to Terra. Thankfully, to be honest, nothing against EOS, but the Terra community is like super engaged and you know, is like blown up that platform now, which is great. But we also just launched a DEX, like the first DEX on Terra, which with incentivized liquidity pools. So we literally launched that like yesterday. So and it's going nuts. It already has like a couple of million in lock value, and yeah, it's going insane. Obviously, like everything in crypto is going insane at the moment, but yeah, so that's exciting. It's been like a 6-month build on the deck, so it's nice to finally launch.
Do you ever expect to expand to other blockchains beyond Terra, or are you just planning on making that your home for now?
I think we want to integrate with Thorchain actually, so that people can do like Thorchain's really interesting. So you can swap. You guys probably know, obviously, from like native BTC into, you know, ETH or into BNB or whatever, and they're about to integrate with Terra, so you'll be able to swap from BTC to Luna or from BTC to UST or to Loop, which will be cool, or ETH to Loop or whatever. Yeah, so that's like, I really like that their kind of cross-chain swap mechanism is really smart. And another Australian actually, should have got them on the should have got JP on the show.
Well, this will be the first of many because I found like 5 more Australians after I already had a full panel doing some really cool stuff. So John Williamson, who's now running well, what he's calling is you know, what voice should have been over there with Eden memberships. We're going to have him on the channel next week, which is going to be kind of interesting. But like, there's a ton of people in the space. So yeah, I definitely think that some of you guys are definitely going to have to come back, and we're going to mix and match this panel. This is going to be our number 2 go-to country for these roundtables, blockchain Canadians and Aussies on the block, because yeah, I just think there's so much innovation. But so I think you were going to say something too, Ross, maybe.
Just about stuff that we're building. So other than running block production and services and history nodes and all that cool stuff that makes the platform work, we are building 2 specific platforms. The first one is on FIO. I remember the Foundation for Internetwork Operability, essentially making crypto easy for people. So it's an EOSIO based network that allows you to have an account, which is a name and a domain. And you use that to request people to send transactions to you, or people can request of you. Makes it very easy to send Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever it might be around. Now, one of the tricks was you have to actually get one of those accounts first. So we've built a platform with a consortium of other block producers. It was EOSphere, EOS Barcelona, EOS Dublin, and EOS Amsterdam. And our sister company, Rewired, did one, a development company. I know you guys know Rewired did one. We built a platform called Hey FIO, where you can go in with a credit card and actually purchase your initial account. We use Stripe to do the credit card back in. And even though when we started the platform, it was all me about getting technical about all these cool things I wanted inside of this dashboard, and everybody walked me back. All right, guys, this is going to be for mom and pop and newbies to come in and get an account. So they walked me all the way back to a platform that I think is going to be really easy. We're running it in a closed beta at the moment, just to make sure we don't, break anything. We wouldn't want 101 help calls about people, losing their accounts and all that kind of stuff. It is a custodian of an account-based platform, but there are some mechanisms for you to put your own keys in and that kind of stuff. So watch that space. We'll probably launch it to the public, next year, first quarter next year, after we're quite comfortable with it. The second one is, as far as EOS.io goes, we're building EOS.io monitoring and alerts platform, something that's self-contained. All block producers have got their own bespoke ways that they monitor the infrastructure. However, they are still across multiple chains. Block producers still fail. They produce double blocks. Their nodes go down, etc., etc. It's just too many moving parts. So we've created a self-standing and still in development now, built out of the actual EOSphere team here in Perth, a self-standing platform that is going to make it easy. And this is great for users of the network because it'll mean that the health of the network will improve. Transactions should be quicker. We'll be able to scale to more transactions per second, more healthy API nodes, all that kind of stuff. So it's like us giving back to EOS.io. The primary focus at the get-go is mainly on WACs. So it'll be monitoring Hyperion full history nodes and atomic asset APIs, and along with all the other Node.js type stuff. And so those are the two kind of production projects to be working on. Yeah, that's it.
Are you guys block producing for Ultra, Ross?
No, I've been in contact with them quite a bit. I think hopefully on the next round they might invite us, but at the moment it's closed. I think they've got about 6 or 7 block producers. So if you know anybody, put in a good word.
Yeah, I think total it was 6, and it was really hard to get in there. Actually, I think.
Yeah, I've been speaking to Remy. He's been pretty good about it. I think if the opportunity came up, should be something there for us. But yeah, we'll just see. It's all good.
That'd be cool. Yeah, it's such a cool project.
So Dimitri, how about you? Like you've been a little bit quiet, and I think what you guys are doing is really interesting, right? Like you're starting a whole new, in a sense, funding arm. Do you guys have any updates on the EOStarter side?
Yeah, so we're just in a bit of a development stage at the moment. So just a quick wrap up of what we have done is we launched an NFT product, the Tartiers, which in short sort of worked as a crowdfunding for us. The launch was probably as successful as it could have been. We definitely learned a lot as a team, and Cypher Dub actually joined the team post-launch, or maybe just before the launch, which has been fantastic in our business development side of things. So looking forward, we're looking now at onboarding a couple of projects, probably based on the NFTs and game space, who are committed to building on the EOS mainnet. Now, as well as that, we are also starting up a sort of card collecting game, which will assist users and collectors in earning our TART token. That'll be airdropped to all the users and the collectors, and that'll all happen in Q4. So we've got a couple of things sort of in the pipeline at the moment, but right now we're sort of focusing on helping at least 2 projects develop their protocols and software and whatnot. So that's where we're at.
So any of you guys, most of you here, like even Tom back in the day, were in that early EOS community type of stuff. So I'm just curious if any of you guys are going to be participating in this upcoming monumental election proper, I guess, the first election proper for Eden on EOS. And if you are participating, are you like me where you're just going to kind of participate and support during the first round, or are you actually planning on running through for a platform and something bigger? Yeah,
I'm signed up. I'll be there. That's tomorrow. I'll just be participating. We were prodded a few times to submit a proposal. Did you participate in any of the trial ones?
Yeah, I was there for the second one, and honestly, like I've been quite vocal about this. Like it was horrible. It was brutal, and
Oh, really?
I it's funny because like I talked to Chris Barnes and a lot of other people about the problems that kind of were existing. And it seems like with the GenerEOS, implementation, a lot of this stuff is going to be fixed, right? So, and it was just, I ended up in a group of 4 people, but one person didn't show up. And then none of us wanted to go through, and one person didn't even speak English. So there were basically like 2 people. It was just, we were, I think the second one, we were like 40 minutes late to get started or something. And of course, our time over here, because I'm just north of you guys, I'm about 2 hours difference from East Coast Australia. Our time over here, it was already, I think, like 2 a.m. in the morning or something. Like it was just like ridiculous. And there weren't that many Australians that came out on the last one. So I think this time is a little bit better. If I'm correct, I think it's 10 my time in Japan. So I believe Ross will be about 9 p.m. your time, 10 or 9, and then East Coast will be midnight, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that one that you're referring to was around about 3 a.m. for us. So I don't think many Aussies would have participated.
Yeah. Okay.
There might not be an Aussie Satoshi.
I mean, it's yeah. We should start a meme about the fact that never mind, that's going too far, because we already had one basically about the Aussie Satoshi that necessarily wasn't really Satoshi, and doesn't strike me as being very Aussie either. But let's just leave that one at the curb.
It's going to be good for EOS though, right? I'm super keen to see the funding and what the representative winners are going to do with their funding. Although it's pretty small, but I think it's good. It's good that it's tested out small, just in case anything bad happens. But yeah, I think the lowest rep, it's like $400 a month, and then it goes up to the top Satoshi gets $17,000 a month to spend. So it's small, but it's decent enough to get a few good projects and some good media coverage out of it for EOS. But yeah, I would like to see it scale up to bigger, so a Satoshi can fund a good dev team or a bigger scale project.
Well, I think Pomelo have actually committed. Someone maybe correct me here if I'm wrong, but committed to quadratic funding once rewards have gone out to whoever's participated in the Eden election. So times it by 3. It's pretty decent considering. I think at the moment there's maybe 200 people, maybe just under, who have committed to joining the election tomorrow.
How about funding? Have you guys gotten any? Has anyone here gotten any funding recently from the EOS Foundation? I don't know if you're even allowed to say that. We know the first 6 people. I'm not sure if they are the ones that have to break the news or not. But okay. Moving on.
Go on the EOS Foundation channel. I think there's a few people that recently commented about funding. So it's a few little Easter eggs that you can follow in there.
Yeah. I think there's things being announced soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see. I mean, Tom, you can even come back and apply for funding at EOS, right? And this is a real thing. We've actually talked about this on other casts before, right? There's no reason. I think in the future, a lot of these blockchains are going to talk to each other anyway, right? We're not going to be so segregated.
Tap's making headway. Sorry. I was just going to say DApp's making some good headway in building these bridges. I think that had a bit to do with you, Sean.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best opportunities for EOS is just to kind of really position itself as a layer 2, and that's really where all of the hardcore DApp development needs to be done anyway. That's kind of what we are starting to look at with Emanate now is, different creators are attracted to different blockchains for different reasons. Sometimes it's an environmental concern. Maybe they just want to be where the whales are. Maybe they want, custodial sort of wallet solutions. There's super, super creative stuff happening over on Tezos. Pretty much every chain have got incredible things. And what we're trying to focus on now is bringing all of those different creators together so that the NFTs, but like audio NFTs, are easy to consume and easy to like stream the music. Like you don't want to be jumping between Tezos and Atomic Hub and OpenSea just to play 3 different songs. Like it all has to come together into some sort of ecosystem. So yeah, we got our bridge set up just over the last few days with the DAD DAO through the bridge that those guys have got set up using the DApp network. It's just started, and we're giving away some liquidity rewards there, and we're also dropping out some of the Moda DAO tokens. Moda's the new music industry DAO that we've put together over the first kind of half of this year, and all Emanate holders and all Emanate community members will have a chance to get those tokens really soon. It's probably launching in about 4 weeks, actually. So the goal of Moda, I mean, Moda is like Ethereum first, because we do kind of feel like that's the backbone at the moment of the NFT, DeFi, and metaverse landscape. But the idea is to integrate all these other chains. And at the moment, it feels like EOS is like a perfectly viable solution for the actual payment engine, and it's really viable as a smart contract framework, because it's, you know, there is that kind of permission structure. You can have proposals that can go back and be, you know, reopened, and there's that flexibility that you need to actually conduct business. And business isn't always like immutable. So, yeah, it seems like there's a really strong place for it in the ecosystem, but I think, like, you know, really like the EOS community and developers need to look at it as being a little bit less of a hardcore layer 1 only kind of, you know, one chain to beat them all kind of solution. It feels more like a scaling solution at the moment, but yeah, there's so much going on, and whatever like tribe you kind of peep into, there's a lot of people that believe that their chain will be the one. I don't think it's going to be the case.
One of the coolest things which has just opened up, which actually it's the wormhole bridge. I don't know if you guys have been following that project, but it links like Ethereum, BSC, Polygon, Solana, and Terra. So to start with, like, there's already a bridge between those 5 chains. So yeah, I think we'll see more and more of these types of bridges opening up between all the chains, and hopefully soon it, you know, won't really matter which chain you're on. It will all be interconnected.
Tom, what's the security like on that?
On the bridge?
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into the like right into the mechanics of it. But I know like Jump Trading is they're the actually ones who are funding it. So I'm pretty sure that it's a pretty solid product. Yeah. Right.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, but Rune Thorchain, they had a multi-chain connection that got hacked a couple of months ago, and they mentioned something about the security with the bridges not being fantastic.
That was, I think, like that was their Ethereum contracts. I think Ethereum contracts always seem to get hacked. I don't know. I guess I don't know whether Ethereum's just not a good chain or whether there's just lots of hackers trying to hack shit on Ethereum.
Right.
But every second day I hear about an Ethereum contract getting hacked. Maybe it's Solidity. It's too hard to.
It's the honeypot.
Yeah. I just feel like it's marketing at the moment. Like you've got like Cardano just like really good at marketing, and they don't really have much there. And then you got like
they got nothing, man. They got nothing.
So it's like I really like
I don't get it.
EOS.io, in my opinion, is technically the strongest, but where it's lacked is marketing. There's been no marketing. Like Block One hasn't done any marketing for whatever reason, like legal reasons, what they say, blah blah blah. But like. For me, it's a huge marketing thing. If we had the same like marketing for EOS.io that Cardano have, then it would be a completely different ball game. And I'm seeing it right now with the products that I'm building. Like you've got Flow with Top Shot, and they're super slick at marketing, and their UI and their UX is brilliant, but their blockchain only has 100 TPS. So I'm in a point where I've got like clients that are like, no, we want to build on Flow. I'm like, well, it's only got 100 TPS. So if you want to do like crafting or video game stuff, like you can't do it there. So EOS.io has got the tech. It's there. It's ready to go, but it just doesn't have the marketing. So I'm out there trying to market, and you got no support. So I really hope like the EOS Foundation really kind of drives home like marketing for EOS.io, because even Block One's not even marketing EOS.io that well, in my opinion. So I really hope the EOS Foundation drives marketing for EOS, which then trickles down to all EOS.io, because the tech's there, the tech's good. It's just no one's picking it up because no one's really like, there's limited people that are actually out there building products. They're all speculating. And then whoever is speculating, that's where it drives like the attention, when it shouldn't actually be that way. It should be the developers and like the technology should be winning out, but it's not the case at this stage.
Guys, I have to jump off, I'm afraid. It's so nice to see you all, though. And yeah, hope to catch up soon and keep building.
Yeah, good to see you, Tom.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on, Jimmy.
No, thank you, and please come back for
yeah.
a next one. If we have to jump off, it's no problem, but we're definitely going to do this again. I definitely want to keep checking in with these updates, because there's a lot going on in Australia. It's not the outback of the crypto space, that's for sure. There's some great people building some great things, and I think just driving this space forward in general. So it's great to have all of you here in the same room. And thank you for joining us on another Cryptowriter Round Table. Next week we'll be back again with a post look at the first Eden-EOS election proper. We'll have Dan and Zach and Chris Barnes and who else am I forgetting? One more person. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Anyway, we'll be here talking about that. So please drop in. It'll be back on our regular Thursdays. And yeah, that's all for us. Please, figure out who these people are. Like, subscribe. Play around with Loop over there. Go get an Emanate account if you don't have one. Check out Crypto Finney's on EOS and Wax, and definitely pop into the homepages of EOStarter, EOSphere, and GenerEOS. But that's all for today. Thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you guys all next time.
Thanks,
Cheers,
guys.
Jimmy.